I am Craig Hamilton Parker. For 25 years, I've been using clairvoyance and dream analysis to help real people understand their paralyzing dreams. Justin is 28, and for the last 20 years he has had this terrible, overwhelming nightmare.
I have had this nightmare weekly for about 20 years. It affects every aspect of my existence, my relationship with my family, my working life, my personal life. To have to experience something that terrible for 2 decades it's very alarming.
I had the nightmare last night. I woke up so many times. The dream was pretty much the same as it always is. It's just, it's gruesome and it's violent and it's disturbing. But, this is what terror looks like in the morning. It's awful.
It's definitely left a permanent scar on my life. It would be absolutely amazing if this particular nightmare would just cease to exist altogether, and not to have to go through such just horror weekly would be an amazing event in my life.
Now, Justin, could you tell me, please, your nightmare?
My nightmare begins in the place where I grew up. It is a farm community, rolling acres of property. It's very serene, but at the same time, it's very desolate. I am inside of my grandmother's old white farmhouse. It's myself, my mother, father, 2 sisters, and a little brother, sitting in a room just having a leisurely afternoon together talking. And we hear this thumping from outside. My father gets up to investigate. See this man standing there. He's large, muscular, bald, very big eyes, very crazed looking, and he just starts screaming hysterically. We get up and make our way toward the front door. And outside we see a band of criminals standing there. They pull us out, throw us down. I'm getting beaten, my teeth are knocked out of my face, it's painful, it's bloody. At this point, one of the gang members takes a knife and stabs my father in the back numerous times. I'm on the ground, beaten and broken, and there's nothing that I can do. The criminals take the rest of my family and lock them in the basement. I am with the gang members, and we notice these people coming up over the hill in the horizon. They're walking very slow, almost kind of staggering. And at this point, you can see that they are zombies. They move closer and closer. We run back into the house. We're running around just trying to do anything to keep this army of undead from entering my home. One of the gang members is boarding up a window that is being beaten in. You can see the hands kind of coming through the windows, grappling for us. Inside of me, a sort of homicidal rage emerges. I take the opportunity to move the board and push this criminal through so that they get torn apart. And then something clamps down and rips into me and bites me. I turn around to see the wound, realizing that now I'm infected and I will become one of these people. And at that point, I rush upstairs and lock myself in the attic. I feel completely lost. Like there's absolutely nothing left for me. At the end of the dream, I'm left there to just suffer my own existence. And as soon as I wake up, I still feel the desolation in my heart.
What I'd like to now do, Justin, is break your nightmare down symbol by symbol.
Okay.
The first symbol we have here is a country house. A country house is something that is set away from society, something very personal to oneself that can represent the body, And the individual parts of the house can represent individual parts of yourself. For example, a cellar can represent those parts of yourself that you've repressed or pushed away. An attic can represent those parts of oneself of the intellect and the mental mind and the reason. Family members in a dream can represent aspects of yourself or represent the reality of your real life family. The father, for example, can represent your willpower, your ability to progress in the world, and in many instances can represent the conscience. The mother can represent the nurturing side of yourself, the feeling side of oneself, and also one's sense of security. Often people have this dream of losing their teeth, which takes us back to that time in life when our own teeth fell out as a child. And it is a time when we are moving from one phase of life to another. So it can show the awkwardness and the loss of self-esteem that might come from losing our self-image. A zombie can represent something that has no feeling. A zombie can represent something where the emotions have been deadened. A zombie can represent something that has taken the life force from one. Therefore, a zombie is something that overwhelms and destroys the life of the soul. Justin, I'd like to now move on to the actual analysis of your nightmare. You're a gay person, is that correct? And I feel a sense of being brought up in an environment that is intolerant to anybody that's gay or anybody that's not fitting into this mold of what everybody should be. I feel the symbol of a country home, for example, is a symbol of how you are. You're alone and isolated. And there is a sense with this that there is a great deal of violence associated with somebody close to you, or perhaps yourself. Would that be with yourself? Would you be prepared to talk about some of the violence that happened to you? Is it too personal?
It's a little
personal, but that's understood. But could you understand and relate? And my feeling is that this initial violence that occurs in the dreams happens in the form of a gang, as if you had been ganged up against. Although it's the father and the mother and the family images that are being beaten around in the dream, in actual fact it's your sense of security, your sense of belonging that is being knocked around. The dream started around the age of 8. Did this violence start to occur around the age of 8 or just before that, to quite a young age?
Yeah, very young age.
And this dream, I feel, is in some ways your reaction against that. I mean, you might not even remember most of it, but there in your unconscious mind, it doesn't die away. It still comes back and haunts you and haunts you. You feel like the Walking Dead. You think of yourself as being a bit like a zombie.
I would really interpret a zombie as just somebody that is emotionally vacant, and I choose not to embrace a lot of emotions that I feel.
So really, as a child then, these dreadful things were happening to you, but then develops further because now your feelings can't be expressed. So I feel the dream it's a warning dream, really. It's a dream that's saying, look, be careful. Deep down, there are forces at work that are coming like an army of the dead to pull your happiness away from you. The dream has had a grip upon you for too long.
Wow. That's amazing. When Craig was comparing my personality to that of a zombie, I definitely was relating to that. It was great to hear somebody who doesn't know me at all interpret things about my personality and who I am.